In apartment number 330 lived a naughty little girl named Olivia, and she hated putting her things away in their places. Her toys and clothes were always strewn all over the floor. Her mom and dad had to ask Olivia to clean up the mess 10 times a day, but she never listened to anyone and kept doing everything her own way. This evening, as usual, she was walking around her room trying to find something and feeling very annoyed.
"Mom, Dad, I can't find my pajamas."
Olivia got angry.
"Look under the chair,"
replied Dad. Olivia looked under the chair but couldn't see anything except last year's toys and a crumpled candy. Next, she examined the floor under the table and even looked under the bed.
"My pajamas aren't anywhere,"
she cried. Olivia understood that she would never find anything in such a mess, but for some reason she still didn't understand how to fix the problem. The door opened and her parents came into the room. Mom decided to look in the closet, but after a few minutes gave up and went back to the kitchen.
"So your pajamas were stolen by aliens,"
said Dad as he helped his daughter into a t-shirt.
"What are aliens?"
"Well, they're little green men who live on another planet,"
explained Dad before wishing her a good night. The day had been hard, so Olivia turned over on her side and quickly fell asleep. Sometime later, she woke up to a quiet rustling sound coming from the other end of the room. Then she heard soft footsteps. Peeking through half-closed eyes, she saw that the window was open. A rope ladder was hanging from the windowsill, and a little green man was climbing to get outside. And in his hands, he was holding Olivia's socks. Olivia didn't even hesitate. She quickly jumped out of bed and ran to the window. Outside the window, right there in midair, a small spaceship was hovering. The green man pried open the round door and crawled inside.
"If I don't do something this second, that spaceship will fly away with my socks. And I'm sure that my pajamas are hidden there too,"
thought the girl, and she quickly darted out and climbed the ladder. The door closed behind Olivia, and she found herself in the cockpit of the spaceship. She looked around in surprise. Other children's toys and clothes were strewn on the floor. In the corner of the cockpit, there was a teddy bear. Pieces from a constructor set were scattered on a high shelf. And in another corner of the cockpit, Olivia recognized her pajamas and socks. The little green man, suspecting nothing, sat at the steering wheel and started pressing multicolored buttons. Very likely his home was on the moon.
It's bad manners to take toys away from children without asking permission,
shouted Olivia. The green man was startled and looked up with fright. But then he smiled and came over to her.
Hi, Olivia.
Do we know each other?
The girl was surprised.
Of course. I have been following you and your scattered things for a long time,
answered the little green man.
Give me my socks and pajamas right now and take me back home.
Olivia was frightened. The green man fell to thinking.
Don't worry. I'll drive you home, but under one condition. You must promise me that from this night on you will start to keep things tidy and obey your parents.
I promise,
Olivia answered with relief.
And you must also solve my riddle. At night they come without being fetched. By day they are lost without being stolen. What are they?
Oh! I think they are stars,
Olivia answered confidently.
Ah, that is the correct answer.
The green man smiled. Then he turned his spaceship around to drive it in the opposite direction. Before long, they reached the window of apartment 330. Olivia said goodbye and climbed down the rope ladder to her room. But she didn't wake her parents and decided to tidy her room first. She picked up the toys scattered on the floor and put them into the box. Then she neatly hung up her clothes in the closet. Now her room was clean and cozy. It had been a long time since it looked this nice. With a smile, Olivia got into her bed and fell asleep. After that night, she never again scattered her things around and always kept her room tidy. The little green man flew to the window of apartment 330 at night several times, hoping to find a sock or pajamas lying on the floor. But each time all he saw were clothes neatly folded in the closet. I hope tonight you will put all your things in their places too, so that no one will be able to sneak away with them. It's very important to keep things clean and in order. Then everything in your life will be right where it should be. Good night, kiddo.